goes away for all. And when you think of currently, if you take the most conservative number, it's about $88 trillion today we should have to set aside to deal with Medicare, Social Security, and Medi-Cal. Social Security is not the big problem. That's about $5 trillion of the 88. If you really want to handle Social Security, when Social Security started, the life expectancy was 63, and you had to be 65 to get it. Pretty good return for government. You know what the fastest growing population of America today? Over 100. You could simply take the actuaries where every 2 years it goes 1 month later. You're doing nothing about where people are today, they're fine. But remember, Einstein said there's only one miracle in this world, the time value of money. Well, let it work for you where you're able to go out. Medicare, you're going to have a really serious discussion. But when it comes to Medi-Cal, you will find Republican and Democrat governors asking for freedom. I went back to Sacramento a couple weeks ago, and I went and had breakfast with Jerry Brown. I didn't support Jerry Brown, but Jerry Brown's governor. I want to be able to work with everybody. So I walk into the room. I used to be leader there when Schwarzenegger was in. A big contrast difference, okay? From the conference room, Schwarzenegger has the big sword from Conan, and Jerry Brown has a park bench. He does. It's made of railroad ties, and that's what you sit on. But Jerry Brown said that. He goes, why won't the federal government allow me to utilize Medi-Cal and give me the freedom what's best for my state? And so you get governors from both sides. So I think we can find common ground there. I do believe, though, in the country, you can't sit out and say, here's the solution. You have to talk about the problem first. So everybody understands how big this problem is. So whatever solution we come to, we all come to it together and realize it's the best going forward. You know, I watched where Bush got reelected on national defense, and his first thing out was, we need to do something about Social Security, and the rest of the country said, I never talked about that. I don't know what you're doing. So if we go and debate things this year, they may not pass, but it will go into the play of the presidential campaign, which I think will be healthy, because then it won't be only one side debating it. Both sides will be debating it, and whoever wins at the end of the day, the American public will at least know it's a problem and have some form of a mandate to say you have to go solve the problem, so we'll all be in it together and we won't demonize one another. I think that will become healthier. So, jobs, debt, and revolving of the tax system, I think we could do something on. I can't really see with the lights, so if someone has a question, you can yell, I guess. If not, I want to thank, oh yes, you have?
Hank Dunn, President of AB Tech in Asheville, North Carolina. Thank you for coming this morning. Just a question, as we walked the Hill yesterday and as we've heard all the folks this last couple days, what seems to be happening is a dichotomy between action and speak. And yesterday, a disconcerting thing that our congressman told us is that even though the TAA is being bannered about and community college, we're getting part of those funds for career training and stuff. Even now, those funds are being raided or attempted to be raided. We were told yesterday that the Congress is still going to give the oil industry about $40 billion in supports. Where's the support for community colleges? Where does the action and the words come together? And that's my big question.
I think the question was, you get a lot of rhetoric on the floor because that's how you get on a cable news show. And it doesn't matter what party you're in or where you are in America, there's one cable news show for you. I mean, we've got every different show, so you can placate to everywhere. I think the question we have to ask is, where is our efficiency? I think all in the room we can understand that we're borrowing more money than we have, 40 cents out of every dollar. Well, you can't live that way in your house. You can't live that way with your community college. Eventually, you hit a brick. But when that happens to you in your community college, you say, how am I best using the money? So when you're saying, where is the money for the community college and how does it get down to? Well, first, you may get mainly that from your state. So when it comes to the federal government, how much of it is taken here and not sent to the classroom? How much do you have to increase here just to try to get some back there? I went and put together a group of students in Stanford, and I give them, they do these different matrices for me, but I give them department by department. They come from all walks of life. They don't come from a political bent. They don't have a political hat to wear. I say, look at it from a matrix and tell me how this department, where is it inefficient and where it could be more efficient. That is where we should look at government. So is our money best being used? Because we don't have enough to do all that we want. And the only argument I would make, if you look, you're concerned about the oil industry, I'm very concerned with where we spend our money. We are funding many of our enemies. We use 20 million barrels a day and we only produce 7. We know we're not going to be able to live our life on oil, but we have to have a bridge to the next generation. We run our Navy on nuclear, but we decide that we can't build more here. We have wind, we have solar, we have geothermal. We should do all the above. And we should actually have a real plan. How long did we put the Department of Energy in and we're further behind than we were before? When it comes to natural gas, we're the Saudi Arabia of the world when it comes to natural gas. So why don't we think smartly and don't make politics? You know why the ethanol is such a big player? And I apologize for those who are from that state. It's because Iowa is the first primary to the presidency. So you make that decision. I'd rather make decisions based upon science. It's the same thing with saying, where's the efficiency of the money? Let's make the smartest decision possible. And let's make the power of the idea win, not the party win. That's the debate we should have. Now, when you go to the House today on the floor, you're probably going to hear some angst from both sides, because what is happening is we're going through a detox right now, okay? And our detox is, for too long, the floor has been controlled by leadership, that it was predetermined what was going to come to the floor. We now have a bill on the floor about where we should go with spending, and any member can offer an amendment. For the last 2 years, nobody could offer any amendments. Any member. So you know what happened in the first night? 403 amendments came across. And then you're concerned about both sides. So we have to go through this, and there's going to be a lot of anger on both sides, but you have to get through it. Then pretty soon we're going to find, oh, the floor is going to be back to the way it was originally designed to produce. Not predetermined, but an idea can actually rise up and win. So you'll hear some anger, people coming up with last word and some other words, but in the long term, it's going to be so much better for us where we can get to have the real debate about the issue itself. Thank you for the opportunity. I wish you the best on the Capitol and for the work you do.
Representative McCarthy, we thank you very much for your time this morning. We thank you for your insights. We also want to tell you how delighted we are that you're representing our interests in Washington and in California. And we also want you to know that there are hundreds of individuals here who are eager to support you in your cause and to represent community colleges as the solution. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of this 2011 Legislative Summit. But before we do, there are a few items we want to make mention of. First of all, by a round of applause, how successful was this summit for you? Good. There are yellow sheets, yellow survey sheets that we're hoping you will fill out that will tell us specifically what you thought of this summit. We may have the opportunity to choose a winning survey so that a photo of you and the president and his dog, Bo, might be able to occur. So we really will appreciate it if you would fill out those surveys. The operative word was may. On behalf of Chairman Surser, we want to thank you for attending. We are very grateful for your presence here. We also want to encourage you to think about attending the AACC convention in New Orleans. It will be on April 9th, from April 9th to April 12th. And right now the doors are locked and applications for that convention are now being passed out. So you will be allowed to leave as soon as we have your deposit for the convention. The title is The New Day, New Promise, New Orleans. And so if you have not completed your registration, please check the website for more information. I also want to encourage many of you who are planning your schedules for this year to think about seeing ACCT in Dallas on October 12th to the 15th. October 12th to the 15th. So ladies and gentlemen, what we'd like to do is one physical exercise before you leave. Since breakfast has been finished, we want you to become a little energized before you go back to the hill. So we'd like you to push your chairs out just a little bit. Push your chairs out. This is going to be a physical exercise where you will stand. On the count of 3, what we would like you to do is stand, put your hands in the air, and say hallelujah. And once we're done doing that, I'll tell you what that means. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Hallelujah. Ladies and gentlemen, we want you to tell all of your colleagues back home that when they ask you how this summit was, you'll be able to tell them that Noah and company had you on the edge of your seats singing hallelujah. Good luck to you all this morning. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, breakfast is being served. It was just to get you up and talking to each other. That was the main goal. So thank you. Breakfast will be served momentarily.